What do we have here? We have the next session here at the DynamicsCon, and this one is called The State of Mobility for Microsoft Dynamics Field Service. Welcome, everyone. But first things first, my name is Ivan Stano. I'm the Chief Evangelist and COO at Resco.net, and I really hope that this will be an interesting topic. What we're going to do today is look at all the options when it comes to mobilizing the Dynamics 365 field service. We'll talk a little bit more about the history, how it all started, what are the current options or current offerings for mobility, but we'll also discuss a little bit more the key differences and things to consider when choosing the right mobile client or mobile options for your Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service. So if that sounds good, let's kick it off. And let me share a few facts about Resco for those of you who are not familiar with who or what Resco really is. So Resco is a typical Microsoft ISV acting or operating globally. We've been in business for over 20 years, and since the very beginning, we were focusing on mobility, which I believe puts us in a very unique category. It all started with designing and developing very simple applications for devices such as Palm Pilots, Pocket PCs, some of those ruggedized devices, if you can still remember those. But eventually we evolved into a company that provides technology for building or easily creating enterprise-grade business applications. This technology is currently used by over 2,500 customers, pretty much all over the globe, as we have customers in more than 100 countries, and some of the companies we work with bring Resco technology to some of the most remote areas in the world. We work with a company that is in adventure tourism, and they use Resco in the area of North Pole and Antarctica. But we also work with organizations that use Resco in over 80 countries of the world, even in the Sahara areas and sub-Saharan areas. So we can literally find Resco anywhere on this planet. And altogether, that equals to roughly 200,000 users. So you can think of these as individuals, women and men, each equipped with a device of their choice, where they're running Resco-based solution. Many of you know us from our relationship with Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service, but we do more than that. Actually, majority of our customers come from outside of field service. We have a lot of customers who use Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales when they're mobilizing their sales teams. Oftentimes, it's quite unique in terms of what kind of use case they're trying to support. It's often complex. It usually combines a lot of things that they have to do out in the field. And that's where Resco comes very handy, as we allow to create these specific or cover these specific scenarios. We're also actively approaching Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, not only providing really robust offline capabilities, but adding a lot of field-oriented or field-focused functionality that help companies who have a lot of people or people out in the field to really do their business more efficiently and be more productive. And as a new thing, we're also entering the finance and operations from Microsoft Dynamics 365 family of products. So we're really trying to expand our portfolio of supported Microsoft Dynamics products to make sure that all the Dynamics customers, but also partners, can rely on Resco as their partner. A little bit of history, if you don't mind, and I hope it will make a really nice segue into the topic of the mobile options. So I'm sure many of you remember or know Resco from our collaboration with Microsoft. We signed the agreement with Microsoft in 2018, I'm sorry, where we became an OEM partner of Microsoft, providing the advanced mobile capabilities for Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service. That cooperation is slowly coming to an end, and there are some changes on the horizon, and some of them are already happening right now. But let me walk you through the story so you get the full picture. It actually all started almost 10 years ago in 2012, when we signed a partnership with a company back then called Field One Systems. Field One was also a typical ISV building their own product on top of, back then, Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And because their product was heavily focused on field service, there was a big need for advanced, robust mobility. So that's why Field One Systems and Resco signed the partnership, and we started to offer the mobile capabilities to the team of Field One Systems. 3 years later, Microsoft acquired Field One in 2015. And just about a year later, in 2016, Microsoft released their full version of Microsoft Dynamics field service based on the Field One System solution. This included also a mobile client, which was a year later replaced by a new one, the Field Service Mobile 2017 application, often nicknamed as the Truck app. If you heard that, that was the one. That was all under the umbrella of our existing agreement with Field One that was inherited by Microsoft. But in 2018, Microsoft and Resco decided to make this an official cooperation and partnership between the two companies. And that's when we signed the partnership directly with Microsoft, and Microsoft released their version of Microsoft Field Service Mobile, often nicknamed as the Xamarin application. And that many of you, I'm sure you're familiar with, and many of our customers and your customers use it on a daily basis. So what really was part of this deal? What was Microsoft getting from Resco? At first, it was definitely the mobile application. Resco's mobile application is really versatile. We're supporting many different platforms with a native application, which is a big favorite amongst our customers because of the performance and general user experience. And we cover all three major platforms. So this application runs on iOS devices, just as nice as on the Android devices. And we, of course, fully support the Windows machines as well. So that's the mobile application. It's available on all the app stores, but the application itself comes in a default version, right? And that default version is actually defined through what we call a mobile project. And Microsoft created their own mobile project that includes all the major functionality that is required out in the field. However, no two businesses are the same. Every business is a little different. They have a little different requirements. They do things differently, their processes, workflows, etc. And that's why part of the offering is the Woodford tool. If you heard this term, Woodford refers to a configuration tool. It's a typical example of low-code, no-code configuration tool that allows to fully configure, change, edit, and further customize the mobile application and the project. And the nice advantage of Woodford tool is that it sits as a solution file within your Microsoft Dynamics 365 environment. So it's fully available there. There are some changes happening, however, and it all started last year in April 2020. When Microsoft first released the information that they'll be rolling out their own mobile application, which will eventually replace the Xamarin application. And for the simplicity of the terminology, we'll just refer to it as the yellow application, and it's fully Power Application based. So the first major change came earlier this year in February 2021, when the Xamarin application became available for existing customers only. And the projected end of support for the Xamarin application has been announced officially to be June 2022. So if you're on the Xamarin application, you have just about 10 months to prepare yourself and make some changes. In my opinion and my experience, the earlier the better, because 10 months in IT world can mean really not much time. What will happen afterwards is that there will be one default application for all Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service customers, and that's going to be the yellow application. So starting June 2022, the yellow app is the only official application from Microsoft if you are a Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service customer. This story, however, doesn't just stop there, and we hear it a lot. I personally spend a lot of time on many phone calls and meetings with existing customers and partners, trying to explain what are the different applications, what are the differences, what's the difference between the Resco app versus the Xamarin app, what does the new Power App, the yellow application mean, and really try to explain all the options that customers have. And one way I found it works is to use pictures instead of words. So let me quickly switch to pictures and explain you the story of many applications. So what do we have here is Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service. This should be a kind of a familiar dashboard or the first look when you launch Dynamics field service. For the simplicity, I'll just replace it with a name tag and we'll just call it DFS, Dynamics FS. So the situation that we know it should look like is all the current customers using Microsoft Dynamics field service should be using the dark blue application, also referred to as the Xamarin app, called the Field Service Mobile, right? The Xamarin application, if you're a field service customer, this is the one that you should use. What we actually found out is that a lot of customers use a blue application with three little pillars called Resco Mobile CRM, which is the Resco application, and it's somewhat similar, but it's not the same. So if you're a customer using the Resco Mobile CRM application, what you should do immediately, preferably, is to either convert to Field Service Mobile, the Xamarin app, or please work with Resco directly to obtain a valid license to keep using your Resco Mobile CRM application with field service. So what will happen in June 2022? If you're using the Xamarin application, this application will be an unsupported app in June next year. And then you pretty much have two options again, and that's either to go and convert to the Power App or the yellow application, or you can convert to Resco Mobile CRM. So the solution from Resco that we created for all field service customers. So long story short, if you're a current customer using Dynamics field service, you should use the Xamarin application, the dark blue one. We found out that there are customers using the Resco Mobile CRM application without obtaining a direct license from us. So we actually, or I actually encourage you to talk to Resco to make sure that you're properly licensed. And starting next year, June 2022, if you're using the Xamarin application, you have two options, either to convert and recreate everything so it works in the new yellow application based in Power App, or you can work with Resco to use the mobile CRM application, pretty much a similar one to the Xamarin app. So I mentioned that there's an option to keep using the Resco Mobile CRM application, and that's 100% true. We actually understand that a lot of customers we've been in touch, they actually appreciate all the benefits that the Resco technology brings. So what we decided to do is to offer all the customers who prefer to use the Resco technology an official path to either stay with Resco or to transform into a Resco-based mobile client. And we call this program Field Service 2.0 because it's not just about the mobile application anymore. It's actually a lot more. So in a few slides, let me explain what Resco Field Service 2.0 as a program is. It's pretty much everything that we learned about mobility and decided to put together in a form of different products or solutions, if you will. First and foremost, it's our mobile-first approach. So Resco Field Service 2.0 is backed by Resco platform. Pretty much all the knowledge that we gained over the 20 years, we've been doing mobility, designing mobile apps and working with many different companies on making sure that their people are utilizing the best mobile solution they possibly can. And Resco is a little bit special, right? With Resco, you're designing the experiences for mobile first foremost. So anything you create in Resco is pretty much guaranteed to work very nicely and very effectively on a mobile device of your choice. The second part of it is inspections, and inspections it's a Resco inspections product, I should say first, not to be mistaken with some other inspections products. This is coming from Resco's Kitchen, and think of it as a really robust tool for creating dynamic forms for data collection. We understand that this is a huge topic, and it's proven by some of our customers who use inspections as a standalone product. They don't necessarily embed it into a more robust, more complex application. They just use inspections standalone. But for the purposes of Field Service 2.0, we decided to put the inspections solution into the product package so that the application can be expanded or enriched with these new type of forms that allow for quick and rapid data collection. And the third component is routes. This is not applicable for each and every business, but for those whose people spend a lot of time traveling from different places, locations, and sites, visiting different customers on a daily basis, this is a huge productivity booster because, again, it's a functionality that is fully embedded into the existing Resco application. So it's a nice, seamless experience for people who are out in the field traveling regularly. And all of that combined, we call Resco Field Service 2.0. Let me actually turn the wheels a little bit and show you just very quickly how the Field Service 2.0 program looks in real life. What we did, we created a new mobile project that is utilized by the same Resco Mobile CRM application, but brings a lot of advantages. So here we have the blue Resco Mobile CRM application. I can launch it on my phone. And what you'll see immediately is a brand new design of the app that we put together to make the application stand out a little bit, provide more of a minimalistic overall appearance. And these different sections here that are completely configurable so that all the items can be arranged together based on what makes best sense. So at the very top, I have bookings, or another name would be a calendar, where I can see all my work orders scheduled for today. We bring all the important information such as start time, the status, and more information about the account that the booking is associated with. I can open up the first one to make myself a little bit more familiar about what I need to do. And what we added as well at the top of the screen is a status bar that I can change very easily. So if I'm ready to go hit the road and travel to the city power and light instrumentation, I can mark that as current status. And I'm now in the traveling status right here. And as you can see, it has changed at the very bottom of the screen. So it's now in traveling mode. So I can get out from the calendar And let me show you the routes integration. It can be part of the home screen, right on top of the list. And if you give me just a second, it will zoom out automatically, as you can see here. Resco Routes combines two components. It's a map that you can see right here that shows my current location with this little blue dot. I'm based just outside of Boston area. And my work orders are actually in Seattle, so it would be quite a trip. But when I zoom in there, you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3. The beauty of Resco Routes is that it's nicely connected with the calendar functionality. So if there's a new work order, that new booking that shows up in my calendar, it's automatically pushed to the routes as well. And we can also bring the office location on the map as well. The second component of routes is the tour plan, where I can see the details. I can see my start and end location at the top and bottom of the screen respectively. This is completely configurable. So it can be current location, it can be my home address, it can be my office address, wherever I start or end my day, and then the 3 stops underneath. Lots of our customers actually use this when they drive. All I have to do is tap on this little button in the right upper corner to send this tour plan to Google Maps, and it will take just a little moment to be calculated. And yeah, this would be a really long trip, almost 2 days. But the point is, when I zoom into Seattle again, you will see the 3 points. Google names them ABC. And if I hit the start button, this is a step-by-step navigation. So that's very nice. If I go back to the bookings, I open up the one I've been working with. I arrived, so I can mark myself as being in progress. Awesome. I saved that. And if I scroll down, I, of course, have access to all the important and vital information about this work order. But part of it is inspections, the other component that we made a part of Field Service 2.0 solution. And as you can see, Resco inspections can be nicely embedded anywhere in the application. So in this case, the example here is that we made it part of work order. I have some previous inspections that have been done once completed. That's why it has a little green progress status or information, and the other one is in progress. I can flip this to a chart right on my screen with a single tap if I'm more of a visual person. And if I want to create a new inspection, all I have to do is tap on the plus button and then choose one of the predefined questionnaire templates. So based on my job, whether I'm just running a quick hazard scan checklist, or maybe I'm repairing a 3D printer and need to follow a particular procedure, I can choose the checklist. So to give you just a quick idea of how it looks like, I'll start by populating the information about the procedure. It's assigned to a particular work order. Customer, technician is predefined. The date we capture automatically. I can down here. Everything went smoothly, so I can save this. One more thing I forgot to do is mark that as complete, because I was really successful at the City Power and Light customer, and you can see the green light, so I'm happy and I can move on. So now the final chapter, and that's the performance differences to consider. So what I presented so far was a little bit of history, a little bit of situation right now, and a lookout for the future when it comes to the mobile options. And also presented the Field Service 2.0, the Resco's option for field service customers who want to utilize the Resco technology when mobilizing their field service solution. I think it's important to put the two applications or two solutions a little bit head to head. Not that we like to do it, but a lot of partners and customers ask us about the differences. So what we did, we tried to make a performance test. And I could share the details in probably a separate session because we looked at a lot of aspects. But here are the key defaults, how we approach the test. And again, this is not a scientific lab test. That's the best we could do given our resources and time. What we did, we chose two devices, Android phone. It was a Samsung Galaxy A40 with 3 gigabytes of RAM, an iPad, the 5th generation with 2 gigabytes of RAM. We loaded both devices with two applications, Resco Mobile CRM version 14.0 and Field Service Dynamics 365 version 3.21, etc. on Android and version 13.21, etc. on iPad OS. So that's the default when it comes to the devices, and the actual data and synchronization setup. We synchronize both applications with Dynamics Field Service server, where there was a little over 1.8 million records and 20,000 attachments. We didn't want to mess with the synchronization filters too much because we really wanted to take the two applications and to see how they perform pretty much in default. So what we did, we didn't adjust the Resco synchronization filters at all. We haven't touched them, didn't do anything. And what we did with the Power App offline data filters, we tried to adjust them so that they match the Resco synchronization filters as much as possible. And then what was actually synced to the mobile devices was about 1.7 million records distributed over 33 entities. For some of you, I know you're thinking like, oh my God, that's so much data, so many entities. You'd be actually surprised when we sometimes run statistics and work with our customers and surveying how they use Resco technology. It's very typical that, especially over a course of 1 year, the application database grows to over 2 million records, and 33 entities is not too much. I've seen as much as 150 in one mobile application. So 33 is pretty average. If you're interested in finding out a lot more, many details, many figures, many stats, let me know. I'll be more than happy to share the findings with you. But the general verdict is that the Resco application provides a more stable and better performing option when we're talking this setup. So if I try to be a little bit more general, I would be cautious using the new Power App when you're having tens of thousands of records or even more. If you're going to be operating, that means using the application in disconnected modes for a prolonged periods of times. Another area to be aware of is if you plan to use a lot of business logic and application logic that needs to run in disconnected mode. And the third area is if you plan to bring a lot of attachments. So if you're taking a lot of pictures, if you're working with a lot of PDF documents, guides, maybe some additional pictures, maybe some other material that you need to have available on the mobile device, then I would really recommend to do a really thorough testing with the new Power App so that you make sure that your users are getting the best. Overall, I think this is a great news for all field service customers because now they have many more options that they had before. It was pretty much the Xamarin application based on Resco technology. Now all customers have more options. There's the new Power App that is the default and is probably a perfect choice for a lot of customers who don't plan to customize or configure their field service mobile experiences too much and don't expect their users to use the application in a disconnected mode or areas for prolonged time. However, there's always the option to use Resco, a proven technology that's been around for over a decade and is bringing great results for thousands of customers all around the world. If you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat window as part of the Dynamics Con environment. If you have more questions later, feel free to reach out to me via email. It's very simple. It's my first name at resco.net, or feel free to add me or LinkedIn and send me a quick message there. So with that, thank you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of DynamicsCon conference. So thank you, the organizers, for putting this show together. And thank you to all the sponsors and speakers for creating a really awesome content. Thank you and have an awesome day.